You live in the early 90s and all of a sudden you hear about a worldwide system of computer networks. Enter the internet. Fast forward 25 years and we are able to transfer assets in a decentralized way between blockchains. Enter the cosmos. Hello crypto lovers and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vasilis and in this video we're going to explain why the Cosmos network is the Internet of Blockchains. The Cosmos Hub was designed by the Interchain Foundation to connect blockchains together and launched onto markets in early 2019. The Cosmos Hub would become the first blockchain in the Cosmos network and connects customized blockchains known as zones. An example of such zone is the Juno network, for which we have talked in a previous video. The Cosmos network is a decentralized network of independent, scalable and interoperable blockchains. Cosmos has a fixed transaction cost of 1 cent and a transaction completion time of only a few seconds, which means that even among proof-of-stake blockchains, Cosmos is fast. The company behind Cosmos also created the Cosmos Software Development Kit, or SDK. The Cosmos SDK is currently the most popular framework for building blockchains with over $46 billion in assets managed by blockchains built from the Cosmos SDK. In addition to being used to secure the proof-of-stake consensus mechanism, the Atom token can also be used to vote in the governance protocol, pay transaction fees when using apps or transferring assets on or across the network, and earning rewards through staking. But perhaps most importantly, it plays a role in allowing the interoperability to occur on the Cosmos network by giving all the IBC and SDK platforms the ability to process Atom tokens. Apart from the SDK we mentioned before, the IBC protocol and Tendermint are also critical to what makes Cosmos unique as a blockchain. The Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol, or IBC, allows messages to be relayed between separated blockchains. Typically, individual blockchains are unable to talk with each other, with each network instead preferring to create its own isolated ecosystem. However, through the IBC, information can be shared between all blockchains created with the SDK that has IBC enabled. Tendermint is the Cosmos solution to any compatibility issue by creating ready-made generic engines that allow developers to focus on building higher quality apps. Though, the real magic of Tendermint is its ability to allow developers to use whatever coding language they want while building on top of it. The Tendermint core acts as a web server, database, and supporting libraries for apps to be built in any programming language. This plug-and-play approach to software development has led to an overall greener network thanks to its pre-built Tendermint engines, SDK, and IBC. Coupled with proof-of-stake naturally creating less carbon emissions, you end up with one of the most sustainable blockchains. As if being one of the cheapest and the quickest wasn't even, it's also one of the most environmentally friendly. Cosmos has created an all-inclusive ecosystem of individual blockchains that can all share information and exchange tokens in a decentralized way without the need for any third party. To achieve this, Cosmos goes through a 3-layer approach. These layers are combined in an open source way that allows developers to build apps that can function across many networks. The first layer is the application layer, where transactions are processed for the network. Secondly is the networking layer, and it is here that allows for communication among the individual blockchains. Lastly is the consensus layer, and it is here where the nodes verify and update the network, ensuring accuracy and honesty. Between all this, Cosmos has created a network of separate blockchains that all have cross-platform functionality. Initially, $17 million was raised during an ICO hosted in 2017. In total, 5% of Atom went to initial contributors through fundraisers. 10% went to Tendermint Inc., which is responsible for most of the software development. The Interchain Foundation took 10% too. The remaining 75% was distributed according to the results of private and public fundraisers before eventually making their way onto exchanges. However, there is no limit to how many Atom tokens there can be. Unlike Bitcoin, which has a hard limit of 21 million Bitcoin, Atom increases its supply by an estimated 7 to 20% each year, with the exact figure being dependent on how much Atom is currently being staked to the network. To conclude with, the Cosmos Hub exists to connect other blockchains also known as zones. This has led to a web of many hubs and zones that form the Cosmos network.